All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Jackie Hastings, and I am super excited to be covering chapters 7 and 8 of the Game of Conquering. And this book has been really amazing. It's so funny that these things hit you right when they need to hit you. That's applicable to so many things other than just network marketing or Plexus or whatever. It really gives me some good tools to use for my family as well. Sometimes I think they probably wish I didn't read these books because then I come up with these things and, teenagers, they give you the eye roll, but I can point them to the book instead of just me. So, chapter 7, we're talking about inadequacy. And, this is just as pertinent for me at Sapphire level as it is for somebody who's just started, as it is for my teenage daughter age things. And I thought it was really important how he talked about, people who are really regarded really highly, they still feel inadequate. So I'm like, okay, there's hope for me. I'm not so bad. Um, and so many successful people still question if they're enough. And we see that not only with superstars, movie stars, all these things, but we also see it when we go to the conventions and we see the diamonds on stage and they'll say the same doggone things. Um, so many times we become a stumbling block in our own progression because we can't be kind to ourselves. We focus on our own inadequacies, and that paralyzes us and keeps us from achieving our goals. So if I asked you right now to get out a piece of paper and I asked you, I'm not going to make you do it. Freak out, Kat. You're okay. But if I asked you to write down things that you're not good at or things that you're not good enough, man, you'd start busting off the paper, right? We can come up with so many things that we're terrible at, supposedly, and that we're not good enough at. But then if I want you to write down the things that you're really good at, you'd probably struggle, right? And so we get so focused on these things that we're not good at and get in this spiral, then we don't do more. We get stuck. And so with that, you talk about the victim mindset. So in the victim mindset, people will make a plan and plan for that plan and then never take action. So how many times have you made lists of stuff you're going to do? And those lists are great and you've got all these plans, but at the end of the day, you haven't done a doggone thing. Or you make lists of people you're going to reach out to and all of these things, and then you don't do it, right? You talk yourself out of it because you don't feel that you really can talk to these people for some reason. Yashana, don't worry, I'm guilty too. For some reason, you feel you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, whatever. But you don't do it. So you're stuck and you talk yourself out of it. So victims live more inside their head than in the real world. And how many times do we have those conversations with ourselves of the worst things that are going to happen that never really could happen? And we don't know if that could ever really happen because we don't take the opportunity to do it because we're stuck. Um, they have all these consuming thoughts resting on their own inadequacies that drive their behavior and keep them stuck in the same self-abusive cycle. And it is abusive. It is not good to talk about yourself badly and not to allow yourself to have the potential and that opportunity to achieve more. They isolate themselves, the fear of being unworthy of companionship of others, and that rejection is inevitable if others knew how inadequate they are. So I see this a lot of times, um, even in my own kids or myself, that I'd rather pull away versus having to dig deep because what if they don't like me? I've always been a nerd. I've always done these different things and I have all this negative self-talk too. Or my daughter, she's like, well, what if this person is mean to me? Or what if these other girls this? And I'm like, we just actually, to take some time and pull away and need that downtime for reflection. But you have to communicate with others and say, you know what? I just need a minute to pull myself together in some downtime because I'm not good at being on all the time. And then you can come back stronger. But if you don't communicate these things to other people and you don't take these actions, they're thinking you're being a snot face. They think you don't want to be with them. So these are some important tools that I found for myself too, that I'm using. And these things will shut down your opportunity for personal growth because they believe they'll never be able to rise to the occasion. So, if you're not listening to the podcast, you're not listening to the different things, you're not reading your books and taking action on it, and you're not actively seeking out personal growth, guess what? You're not going to grow, and you just self-sabotaged yourself again. And guess what? You are the victim. You're the victim of your own doggone self. So then that brings us to survivor. I had no idea about this stuff with Gandhi, that he was terrified of public speaking, to the point where he actually had to give his speech to somebody else to read it one time. And then when he finished law school, he was too afraid of public speaking. He couldn't even speak in court. He actually, his law practice, totally failed because he just couldn't do it. I was like, holy smokes. But he's regarded as one of the most influential speakers. And how did he get through this, right? So I was really surprised. With survivors, they recognize that they have inadequacies, but don't want others to know. They'll bring on what they can do and remove from focus what they can't do. So they overcompensate, and then that overcompensation leads to them looking like they've got this huge ego. So, this is like the neighborhood one-uppingness. So the guy next door is mowing their lawn, you've got to mow your lawn and edge it. Or the person next door is got a new car. Well, guess what? I need to get one too. It's that one investing, and it's kind of self-sabotaging it as well. Um, you kind of, or the other thing, you'll find somebody that you see as greater than you, and you like totally stalk them. You see all the things that they're doing, you'll ride on the coattails of their success, and you rationalize why it's okay if you don't succeed. You're so busy compensating for your weaknesses that you never grow in strength, but you merely survive. And they talk about how comparison is the thief of joy. Hang on. Comparison is this thief of joy. So conquerors don't steal joy, they seek to share it. And I really like that. So we talk about how often do we as survivors self-sabotage our success because we're so focused on hiding our weaknesses or justifying them. So let's say you had a goal and you didn't hit it. But did you not hit it because you didn't reach out? Did you not do those scary things? We had an event tonight. Are you not following up with those people? Are you not doing those things? Well, nobody's going to join me. Well, yeah, because they don't know how to join you. They don't know how to follow you because you didn't give them an opportunity to. So you cause yourself to fail. Sometimes we'll take a step back and never really put our heart into the game because we're scared and we don't feel we deserve more. Or we're just content in being the game. Sometimes it's kind of nice just to hang out and have friends and do these things, be surrounded by some positive stuff. We all have a lot of really cool things that we do, and you might do a little work, but maybe not a lot. Maybe you don't want to put a lot out there because what if you fail? What if you succeed? What the heck are you going to do then? You've got two scenarios, but if you don't put yourself out there, you don't have to worry about either of those because you can coast, right? Now, coasting is comfortable sometimes because there's no risk involved. How many times do we settle in life for just being average as good? How many times do we shrink our dreams, our goals, our ambitions to make ourselves and others feel comfortable? So sometimes we get stuck too because, we don't want others to be uncomfortable with our success. What if you ended up making a bunch of money? What if you had these different titles? What if you had a doctorate degree and you quit your job as a doctor and you did network marketing and you started volunteering at the school and people are like, what is wrong with your head? Hello, I've done that. And you know what? There's times where people are like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? I'm like, I love it. I love being able to help and serve others in a different way. And sometimes you can even get comfortable in that and go and still not put yourself out there as much. So we all have weaknesses and inadequacies, is what we do with them that defines us. So each weakness can be turned into a strength. So I have some people who are like, I'm not good at graphics. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm not good at this. Okay, well, dig into that and find out why and what can you do about that, Or that's when you rely on talking to one of your mentors and saying, how can you help me with this? Maybe you do this part better than I do. And then you share on the strengths of others. So we just need to accept the challenge and change our mindset to that of a conqueror. So conqueror mindset. I always, when I'm thinking of these, I'm thinking like Xena warrior princess. For some reason, she pops into my head. You young people don't choose it, so you can laugh along with me. So even conquerors have inadequacies, but it's how they view them that makes them a conqueror. So success can only come from daily intentional and positive outlook on life. You turn your inadequacies into strengths. So conquerors create their own success by focusing on the things they can do and develop the courage to do the things even when it becomes difficult. If you think I like going through and writing down lists of names of people and sending messages to them, you're wrong. I don't like doing that. I hate it. It makes me feel weird, but I know I have a gift that I can share with others. And by sharing that positive outlook to be able to choose how to, or maybe giving them friendships and personal growth that they didn't know that they need, I'm offering them a gift. And if I'm thinking about it that way, I can, suck up that uncomfortableness and get over that for that reason. So you have to train your brain to push past the fears and find a motivation that is stronger than the fears that keep most people prisoners. Take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Realize success in life is not about them, but by serving other people, by choosing to be the good in the world. Focus on what they can do, not in being perfect. None of us are perfect. My grandma used to say, there's only one perfect one, and we hung him on a cross. And Jesus Christ, none of us are perfect, but we can all strive to be good people. You can push through and create a better world for themselves and everyone around them. So, step one for this, and I love how they give us positive things to do versus just talking about it. I mean, these are like concrete things we can do. Number one, accept complete responsibility for everything. You know what? Not getting joins this month, or this person not following up, or this person not taking their products. Sometimes it's on us because we didn't do the things that we needed to do. Boom. See a bigger picture. The cause is greater than yourself to push you out of your comfort zone. Inadequacy. So fail forward, accept feedback, be coachable, and willing to do things through the hard times. So sometimes going, you know what, Elizabeth, this didn't go great. What could I do differently? And sometimes I don't like what she has to say. It's okay. I know it's out of love because we're striving to do good things for others, and being okay with that uncomfortable. Oh, sometimes I have to pause because my immediate reaction is, no. Then I'm like, Jackie, pause, count to 10, count to 3, do something. Don't just immediately jump. This is out of love to make things better for people. So sometimes we perceive what we are inadequate is actually one of our greatest strengths in its early stages of development. If we choose to learn and develop that weakness, it can totally change our life. So how to conquer fear of inadequacy. One can increase their success up to 95% through fostering good habits and weeding out the bad. And with the right habits, right mindset, success is bound to happen. To become a conqueror, we need to first strengthen our habits. Most studies say it takes about 28 days to form a new habit. So we do so many things automatically out of habit. So if we can change some of that, instead of just that automatic reaction, and consistently do that, we have the opportunity to make change. And it doesn't happen overnight, at least 28 days. He talked about the daily method of operation, which it kind of sounds like our IPA, right? What we're doing on a daily basis, whether it's our prayers, our devotions, our reach outs, all of those different things, having a checklist of doing them until it becomes automatic for us and change the habit. Eventually you no longer need the sheet. And to create a habit, number one, declare what you really want. And you have to be specific. You can't just say, I want to be successful. It doesn't mean you don't have to work 7 days a week. Does it mean you're able to pay off a mortgage? Does it mean you've helped 3 other people achieve their goal? And then declare why you really want it. And it has to be stronger than your mood swings. I love that. There's days we don't feel like doing things. So if your why is stronger, we'll talk about a why that makes you cry. when that why is so strong, on those days that you're not feeling like it, you're going to do it anyway. Make it visual. Put it somewhere you'll see these things daily. The dream board with pictures of your goals that you look at often can help you through some of those times. Set reminders on your phone. And at convention, they actually had us do that. I can't remember if it was at convention. I think it was a convention. One of the things I've done lately, they had us put reminders on our phone to um, give you to go off different times saying things that will keep you focused on your goals. I've turned them off because a lot of times my schedule is not the same and it gets a little weird sometimes. But maybe that weirdness is good and it would inspire someone else. So that goes back to the inadequacy, right? Be accountable. 65% better chance of completing a goal if you commit to someone. And then a 95% chance of success if you have appointments regularly with a person to whom you've committed that to. Oh boy. So that kind of sounds like coaching calls, doesn't it? Yeah. And those daily or those monthly goal sheets that we fill out, or coaching sheets. So takes us to chapter 8, missing out. So FOMO lures us out of our integrity with whispers about it, what we would or should be doing. FOMO's favorite weapon is comparison. And that was a Brene Brown quote. And we've read some of her books. She has a lot of really good things out there too. And I never realized this about Michael Jackson, but it totally was like an aha moment. He had severe FOMO, even though he was so successful and his family had so much. He desperately longed for a normal childhood like he saw other kids doing, and that carried on through his adulthood. Look at, he made that whole Wonderland or whatever, and he lived like a child, and he was constantly longing for something he didn't have, to the point he numbed himself, to the point he died. So even super successful people still have FOMO. It's amazing. It's a fear when we believe others having better experiences than we are. We falsely believe they are happier because they have better whatever. So we become preoccupied with this belief and we stop living our own lives because we are too busy fantasizing about someone else's lives. Social media has really increased this because we see an endless supply of other people's wonderful snippets of their lives, but what we don't see is those outtakes that aren't so perfect, right? It's good to help find potential customers and distributors in social media, but the highlights can have people having a lot of FOMO because they believe the issue isn't them, but the company. And then they also, believe way too soon, and they leave way too soon, and they skip around in different companies way too often. So how often will you see people, they're in, let's just say maybe Pampered Chef one week, and then another month later you see them doing Color Street Nails, and then another a month later they're doing Juice Plus, and then another, and that's part of the reason why we say give it time, um, and consistency, and why we stay to stick on one thing at a time. Put all of your focus on one major thing, because otherwise you're popping around and you don't really even give yourself a chance. Unhappiness is the number one driver of FOMO. You stalk others, live vicariously through them, and learn, and thinking you're going to learn the key of their happiness so you can make it your own, or you try to be just like them. Happiness doesn't come from other people, places, or things. So often we'll find someone that we really like and we'll learn all about them. Even, learning about some of the diamonds, you might go, you know what, Christina Williams, she's amazing. I love everything she's achieving. I want to do all this, all the stuff that's going on in her life. Or, maybe it's, another diamond or someone else who's a big social influencer, and you have spent so much time learning all the things about their life when you could have actually been improving your own and working your own business and doing those things. So you're living in this fantasy world that isn't yours. And it's different between looking at someone else and going, you know what, they're doing a great job and I see they're doing great things. I want to do those too, and I'm going to take the steps to do it. Two totally different things. So if we look at the victim mindset, let's say, for instance, you miss earning a prize. So let's say you missed earning leaders retreat, or maybe last month you missed earning the Ray-Ban sunglasses, or whatever, whatever incentive. And you're so hung up on that, that instead of riding the momentum of everything good that you did and all those conversations you started, that you just quit doing things and you've been paralyzed. What in the world did you just do? You just cut yourself off and you focused on failure instead of the successes you did have. So, um, I love how how they talked about somebody was doing that and people were on a trip and she was posting kind of whiny pantsy about not having earned it. And they called her out on it and said, drop the drama and get to work. Friends, if you're missing something, instead of pouting and moping, drop the drama and get to work. I'm calling you out. If you need me to do it personally, send me a PM and I'll yell at you with love. Get it together. They're so focused on what others have that they are unable to bring their own lives into focus. You know, they become watchers versus doers. They live vicariously through others, like they're characters of books, movies, or those they follow on social media. Entertainment is no longer a casual thing, but more of a coping mechanism for their unhappiness. So if you went to convention and you saw those diamonds talking on stage and you're like, they are amazing and I should be there and I'm going to be there. And then you got so focused on that that you didn't end up doing anything, you're stuck in that victim mindset. Survivor, FOMO, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence and we long to get there. But you know why that grass is greener? Because on the other side of those fence, those people been watering it and nurturing it and doing the daggone things, right? If you want green grass, water your own lawn. Nurture your dreams and stop yearning for the dreams of others. Or you lose out on your own life you long for while you long for that of another. So it's hard to stay positive when you're comparing yourself to the edited version of others. And I always say when I first started Plexus and I was hopping on, the calls, we used to do them all with Pink Power, in the book clubs, and I would see Courtney, and she had everything perfectly white and everything lovely and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm a hot mess. I don't fit in with this. I live in the middle of the woods in the UP. This is not me. But then having them spin their camera around and being able to see the hot mess behind, I felt like I could finally belong. And if I spun my camera around, you'd see I'm sitting in the corner of my basement. My ceiling's not finished. I have pajama pants on, a wife beater shirt, and my sweatshirt. My hair is not done and no makeup. You guys, it's okay. But we work hard, we do those other things. We put our focus and energy where it needs to be. And that's how we start to move to those different stages. So, don't be consumed with perfection. If you're having to take 800 selfies to get that perfect picture and you're having, when you go to do a post, it takes you an hour to do a post, you're wasting time. No more than 10, 15 minutes. Don't spend so much time on that you're not reaching out and doing those things. A survivor would go out and do, whereas a victim would just sit by and watch and wish, but won't go out or do anything. It's really common for them to go into debt, having to buy a bigger, better, whatever to prove they're living the happy life worth emulating. This so happens all the time. They're never satisfied with what they have because there's always someone out there living a better life and they're always searching for and never feeling their own happiness. So that's a tough one. Conqueror. Let's go to the happy one, right? So in the conqueror one, if your focus is on what you think you've lost or what you feel you can't have, or you're going to make yourself miserable. Don't do that. Tell yourself you're choosing to give up something you like for something you love even more. The sacrifice isn't as hard. So often I hear people say, I can't get on tonight. I have this going on. Well, usually what you have going on isn't that important that you couldn't have changed it. Would I like to go to bed earlier sometimes? Yeah. Would I like to be sitting up on the couch, cuddling and watching TV for this 30 minutes? Yeah. But this is more important and it's going to lead us to more family time together. So, giving that small sacrifice a little bit here to get the other there, or, getting up a couple minutes early in the morning, letting the kids sleep, having that quiet time after doing my prayers, devotionals, gratitude journal, getting some IPA done, which just sucks the brain out of our heads anyway. What's more important, right? What's going to get us further in life? Not that junky stuff. Power is in a positive attitude. So focus on the good and stop thinking about what you're missing out on. Work for it. Work ethic is a valuable skill for the conqueror. You don't see muscle builders that don't work for it. They don't just wake up magically strong. We don't just wake up magically strong in our businesses either. While victims are dreaming, survivors pretending, conquerors are working hard to make their dreams a reality, where they're going and understand the work it will take to get there. They make plans, set goals, and create a vision board to make things happen. They focus on what they can do, not what they want, which allows them to get exactly what they want in the end. So often we'll have people say, I want to hit these goals. I want to do these things. I want to be a diamond. But then when you start laying out the work that needs to be done, it doesn't happen and they don't do those things. Or people want to do things, but they won't send a message to somebody. Do you want it that badly? And those are questions we have to ask ourselves. And if you don't, that's okay, but don't pretend that you do. See what you want. Focus on what they want as attainable and a little hard work and their eyes fixed on the prize. That's what a conqueror does. They reframe how they see themselves and the story they tell themselves in order to make meaningful things happen in their life. They make a plan and get to work. I love this quote. Am I hanging on to too many likes, which are preventing me from my loves? I really like ice cream. I really like a drink now and then. I really like chocolate. But you know what? I love to be healthy and I love to be able to fit in my clothes and I love to be able to do things with my kids. And I that's work well. Choices. How to conquer FOMO. List what you like in life in one column and then list in the other what you love. Compare. Listen to ourselves less and talk to ourselves more. Combat the negative self-talk and give ourselves a positive pep talk. Be grateful what you already have. Be grateful what you don't fear and what you're missing out on. Gratitude makes what you have be enough. And that's why gratitude journals are so important. That's why doing a gratitude post at least once a week is really important. List what you're grateful for in your business. Now, here's our actual steps. They're on that page 117. Number one, keep a gratitude journal. What you focus on grows. Unplug, step away from social media periodically, not for like days, weeks, years, months, but do something real. Go put your feet in the dirt, walk, exercise, talk to your family. Number three, go on a social media, electronic, or TV fast periodically to increase your productivity. Number four, be genuinely happy for others and their accomplishments. Can you go on social media or can you go and write somebody a note or call a friend and say, hey, I'm really happy for what you've got going on? Five, create your own happiness. Meditate on your happy place and learn to generate happy from within. I think you can replace meditate at times with prayer as well there. Make a plan, vision board, hopes and dreams, make a plan and achieve and get to work. And then lastly, but not least, I'm sorry I took a long time, but there's so much in these chapters. Change your focus. Oops, hang on. Oh, I messed it up. Hang on, I'm going to mess it up. I want to get it right. I wrote it down. I can't read my own writing. It's terrible. Change. Oh. Where did it go? I got to get on the right page. It's on the missing out. Last page. Where did it go? There we go. Change your focus, change your life. Change your focus, change your business. Yeah, change your focus, change your business. Change your focus, change your life. There we go. The way to attain happiness is to seek easier than you think. Stop looking at the grass on the other side and start watering your own, because in your fear of missing out is your own life you're missing out on. There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm going to mute myself now. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I know I've talked a lot and I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jackie. That was awesome. Yeah, this book has really made me realize all the times I get in that victim or survivor mindset and how I got to push through and do the things to get to the conqueror mindset. So I did do that exercise about writing down the list of my likes and the list of my loves and what I can eliminate or do away with for a while in the like side to get to the loves, and that's what I'm going to focus on and work on. And yeah, this book is really eye-opening, like really self-evaluating and everything. So loving it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good exercise to do. excuse me, I think not just for business, but for health goals, for family, so often even like our kids will say, well, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, or blah, 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 but they can, sit and do other things. So I think it's important for all of us to encourage our some of these things, to do the likes and loves. And I think it's important too, because, even on your teammates or whatnot, then you can learn more about each other. And the more we learn about each other, the more we have a stronger bond and friendship, the more we can help each other too. So, um, as Rochelle has said many times, a rising tide lifts all ships. Alrighty, guys. I don't want to take up your whole night. It's a little quiet crew, but that's okay. Sometimes that quiet is thinking. We've learned sometimes being more of a quiet person or an introvert means you're a better listener. But remember, don't just listen to your own head. You have to put that positive self-talk in there too. So don't be an introvert with yourself. Remember to talk to yourself in a positive way. And I'm looking forward to more great things coming. Keep working, go out of your comfort zone, do those things. Don't fall back into that victim mindset, and we'll all have good things coming. So have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much.